I can't wait to show you how we are going to revive this old chair into something absolutely amazing by using the color Olivia Spale. Very first important step, and something that we have already done, is to clean your surface properly by using lacquer thinners. Allow for the thinners to dry and then the fun can start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the areas where I don't want any paint. So my masking tape is complete. The idea is to keep these sections raw wood, not to paint them. This is, however, a creative process, so things might change. Let's start painting. The color I'm using is Olivia Spale. It's a dusty olive color, and Olivia is a lady that works in the admin office but actually has started the Tjhoko journey with me as a packer. She's gentle, she's soft. She lives or comes from a Mpumalanga. She's a mother and she is absolutely amazing. Depending on the surface and the size you are working on, you will use different applicators. Currently, I'm painting with a 50mm Hamilton's Enzyme brush. This gives a very smooth finish. Later, when I move to smaller sections, I will use an artist brush, and especially when it comes to the cut lines of these areas, I want to keep this wood as well, but I can't apply masking tape on those areas. So I'll do cut lines and smaller paint work with a smaller applicator. Make sure the bristles of your paint brushes are soft and smooth, because this will have an effect on the quality of your paint work as well. The smoother the bristles, the more sleek the paint work. My paint work is now complete, and I will allow for this to dry for 4 hours or longer, and then start with an antique brown glaze application. We are going to accentuate all the crevices and grooves with our antique brown glaze. So I like to break rules. The instructions on the antique brown glaze does say add 30% water. I am going to add my water, but I'm also going to add Tjhoko's matte black. Now what the matte black will do, or even sheriff stone, depending on your shades, I want a rather dark shade on my antiquing, so I'm using matte black. And you can manipulate the intensity of the shadowing by wiping away more with a damp cloth, and you will see everything will make sense as I start doing it. So this is an ingredient that's not on the instructions that I like to add. Either matte black, and for a more muted antique effect, I will add sheriff stone. First of all, stir your antique brown glaze. It does come with a stirring stick. I've just lost mine. So I stir it well. You will feel at the bottom there's color pigment sitting, so you do want to mix it in well with the rest of the content. I'm going to add 60 milliliters antique brown glaze into a mixing bowl. I'll be adding more or less 20 milliliters matte black, and also 20 milliliters boiling water that has cooled down. And I'm just going to mix everything together. Whatever is left, you can put back in an airtight container. The fact that you have used boiling water that has cooled down doesn't affect contamination. Tap water will contaminate your paint products over time. I mix it in well. Now, due to the fact that I'm working on small surfaces, the crevices and detail is quite small and petite, I'm going to use an artist brush, not a normal paint brush. So I mix well. I will also need a damp mutton cloth. So I've dampened it with water, I've removed any excess moisture, so it's nice and damp and not dry. I dip the tip of my artist brush in my antique brown glaze and I remove any excess. And now I'm going to start with a fun process. So I paint small sections at a time. Now I want to show you something. I want to add more drama to the crevices and detail. So I'm just going to add a little bit more matte black to create that drama. So this is now more or less 40 milliliters matte black, 60 milliliters antique brown glaze, and your 20 milliliters water. So you can change as you progress with your project, and everything is water-based. So even if you want to paint on top of your antique brown glaze or change anything, you can do it. So in those crevices and detail, that's better, I'm happy. And with my damp cloth, I wipe away. This creates a beautiful antique finish. Small sections at a time, I will paint. Make sure it reaches all those crevices. Take my damp cloth. And now that the antiquing is done, I'm going to show how to wash with antique glaze a flat surface, and then also I'll be showing how to hide any imperfections. So I still use the same mutton cloth. I make sure I'm going to work with a very dirty area. I add more antique glaze on that area and I wipe it well into my damp, dirty cloth. I fold my cloth like a ball in the palm of my hand, press it flat with my free hand, and very gently I start moving my dirty brush in circular motions. And this will emphasize all the unevenness and age on this seat. Now, I'm going to show you how to hide imperfections. You can do one of two things. Either you can dry brush. So we have used Olivia's pail on this chair, and I'm going to work on this flat area over here. Now, dry brushing is when you only dip the tips of your paintbrush in the paint. You also remove any excess on a piece of cloth, so your brush is nice and dry. And I'm brushing over my antique surface to hide imperfections. So it's subtle and it creates even a more authentic look. The second way of fixing unevenness is to use your damp cloth. Spread some paint, the paint color that you used initially, on your cloth. Make sure you distribute it evenly into the cloth, and we do a washed effect. And I'm going to focus on the seat. It's subtle, but it just brings everything together. And also, of course, you can decide whether you want to do one coat, more than one coat. I'm going to do it on these sections as well. I am absolutely loving this chair. The last thing that needs to be done is to remove the masking tape, and then we can show you the final reveal.